Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Bill is off tonight. A first alert update. A Brown County judge finds a Milwaukee teenager guilty of killing a man. Jeremiah Robinson was 15 at the time. Brittany Schmidt reports the case stayed in adult court, but in exchange, prosecutors dropped several other charges.
Minutes after walking into the Brown County courtroom, now 17-year-old Jeremiah Robinson admitted to Judge Thomas Walsh that he shot and killed a 31-year-old Green Bay man in early 2022.
I've had a chance to read the criminal complaint that was filed in your case. Have you had a chance to read that over?
Yes.
And are the facts that are outlined in there essentially true and correct?
Yes.
The shooting happened outside of Walgreens. It involved drugs. Robinson pleaded no contest to 3 charges: second-degree reckless homicide with a dangerous weapon, first-degree recklessly endangering safety, and possession of THC. The judge making sure Robinson understood his plea.
While he's only gone through 8 years of schooling, he has been receiving schooling when he's been in the jail. And based on all of our conversations, I believe that he does understand.
I'll find that his pleas are freely, voluntarily, and intelligently made here today, and I will therefore adjudge him guilty.
Action 2 News obtained a copy of the court documents outlining the plea deal. The state dropped 6 other charges and recommends that Robinson serve all 3 sentences at the same time, totaling 15 years in prison and 10 years of extended supervision. But the final sentence is left to the discretion of the judge, with a potential for 38 years in prison.
I'm not bound by any plea negotiations or recommendations of lawyers. I'm actually free to sentence you up to the maximum under state law.
Although the judge dismissed those other 6 charges against Robinson, he can consider those charges when sentencing him on July 18th. Reporting in Brown County, Brittany Schmidt, Action 2 News.